Welcome to the Biz Doctor Podcast, my love letter to business owners the world over. I'm your host, Lauren Goldstein, award-winning business consultant and advisor fondly nicknamed the Biz Doctor by my clients. I help business owners who are burning the candle at both ends diagnose what is actually keeping them buried in the day-to-day busy work, and then formulate a treatment plan to adjust their business and team to fit them, so they can take a breath and a vacation and have more fun making a bigger impact than ever. So grab your favorite beverage and your earbuds, and let's dive into our latest episode. Sometimes when we think business owner, often only one type comes to mind: the business owner who leads the company as president or CEO. But today I want to talk about what I've discovered over the course of the past 12 years in business consulting, that there are actually 3 types of business owners. And knowing the difference between them, and more importantly, what type of business owner you want to be, can have an exponentially large impact on your success and the success of your business and your team. And if you don't have that clarity, it can also sink your business and team. So let's dig into this episode, shall we? Welcome back to the Biz Doctor Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Goldstein, and today I'm going to share a client story that really shows the different types of business owners, and more importantly, why it is so critical to think through which type of owner you want to be so you can set yourself, your business, and your team up for success. Not that long ago, I was brought on as fractional COO in a multi-million-dollar company that had been formed as a partnership with 2 majority owners and 2 minority owners. They'd grown rapidly from about 40 team members to over 150 in the span of 2 years. And to be frank, things were breaking right and left and the team was a hot mess. Hence why they called me in. Through the course of my diagnosing, several things popped up as red flags. But the one I want to talk about today is mismatched ownership expectations. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you've probably heard me say that mismatched expectations are nothing more than premeditated resentments. And this was no exception. 2 of the owners, 1 major, 1 minor, were doing the lion's share of running the company, and they were on the verge of burnout. The second major owner was not involved in the day-to-day. In fact, dare I say, outside of his expertise about where to invest the company's resources in the market they're in, he knew little to nothing about the team or the day-to-day. The 4th partner worked in one of the departments as a manager, but was even greener and less qualified to actually be in the high-level leadership conversations, but felt he had a right to be there because he was an owner. Tricky situation to say the least. So now that I've set the stage, let me tell you the 3 types of owners. They are owner, owner-operator, and owner-leader. I'm going to start from the simplest to the most complex. Owner. This, simply put, is someone who owns a portion of the business, is not involved in the running or day-to-day, but gets a portion of the income from the business as either a disbursement or set amount, generally a percentage. I see this a lot when a partner, quote-unquote, retires. They tend to be involved in any business having to do with selling the business or big investments, but otherwise they don't oversee or touch much of the business. In the client example I shared moments ago, we don't actually have any of these types, but I'll come back to that in a moment. The second is owner-operator. This one is a tricky bedfellow. This is the one I lovingly call CEO. Not true CEO, though. Chief Everything Officer. This is someone who's generally wearing multiple hats, trying to navigate leading the team, and stuck way down in the trenches of doing the work. I see this a lot with service-based business owners that I work with. The 3rd type of owner is owner-leader. Some might call this the visionary. It's generally the person who's responsible for the direction and vision of the company. They work alongside a second in command to make sure that they have the team support and resources to execute on the high-level strategic vision the owner-leader, aka the true CEO, has. So if we take my client as an example, where do you see everyone slotted in? For me, it went like this. Majority owner number 1, owner-leader, CEO. Minority owner number 1, owner-operator, CFO. Majority owner number 2, owner-operator. Minority owner number 2, owner-operator. So when we go back to my client, the CEO, although more in the trenches than either of us would like when I started with them, was doing a great job of being that agile visionary leader, creating the company direction and then asking what resources and time, team, and money are necessary, and getting better and better every day at delegating. The minority owner, wearing the hats of CFO and HR, falls squarely in the operator box because he's in the weeds day to day. Now, I know that most of you know that my specialty is getting business owners out from under their business and shifting out from operator to owner. But in this specific case, he wants to be in the weeds. He loves the work of it. So this is a prime example of if I elevated him out, he would fail. He doesn't want the bigger leadership responsibilities and is more detail thinking than big picture, so it would have been a case of wrong butt, wrong seat. However, I will say we did hire a director of people to take the hat that he shouldn't be wearing as CFO off his plate. Now, I say this because it is okay to stay as owner-operator with this one caveat. You have to have a good leader in your company. With my client, we do. So that means that this owner can stay and play in the sandbox of CFO, where he's happiest. So my encouragement to you is to take a moment and ask yourself, do you enjoy the doing or do you want to get out of the muck and mire to lead? That question will determine which owner is best for you. Now let's talk about the other majority owner. The other majority owner also falls into this operator box, but for a different reason than the CFO I just mentioned. The CFO is very involved in the day-to-day running of the business and steps in frequently to help the CEO, which is another reason why I came in as fractional COO. But this majority owner is way down in the trenches of only one aspect of the business. He is one person he manages and otherwise is completely blind to the rest of the business cogs that impact him or the people he manages. While he brings in a chunk of revenue, his blinders create friction. And although he brings in revenue, it puts a lot of stress on the other two partners who run the day-to-day to shift resources and team to support the revenue increases. This also meant that if a major issue popped up in the business, only 2 out of 4 partners could actually solve it or knew how it all went together. This kind of tunnel vision is what had actually started to take down this partnership and the business. Now, I do want to add one very important point. This breaking point was no one's fault. They simply were a scrappy startup where everyone was operating independently without clear roles or accountabilities. But now that it's this size, they need structure and clarity to scale. So that sometimes can be a messy, uncomfortable transition. Again, where I come in. Now back to this partner. Because they put their heads down and grinded their way to success, he couldn't actually see the resentment, frustration, or friction in the partnership until I came in and did some real digging into the operational workings and had some very long one-on-one talks with the team. The light bulb officially turned on for him after one very long quarterly session with all the partners and myself, where we had the tough conversation about mismatched expectations about partnership and ownership that had needed to be broached for a while. And I actually credit our Golden Key scorecard for really illuminating the disconnect in a simple and concrete way. What we were able to do is clearly say, this is the role the company needs and what we would like the partner to step into. Can you do it? Do you want to do it? Or do we change how the partnership is structured? Now, these are all very important questions. Again, they went from scrappy startup into true business, so a lot of this had not been discussed. So in this case, we used the scorecard to not only clarify his role, but also determine what other key roles were missing in the company. So we could determine if he was the right fit for the role or if we needed an outside person to come in and take that role. Before we dive into the next bit, I want to take a second to share with you something that I've seen drastically change businesses and teams for the better. Imagine waking up every morning with a team that knows exactly what is expected of them and how to achieve success, without you having to micromanage them. Imagine how much time and dollars you will save by hiring the right team member from the start. Not to mention getting the most out of every current member of your team. That is what's possible with our tried and tested tool, the Golden Key Scorecard. The scorecard is a simple, impactful, and fillable tool for managing your team, ditching inefficiency, and I guarantee will help you stop playing whack-a-mole chasing team docs all over the place. It's as easy as filling out a form. If you want to get out from under your business, shifting from business operator to business owner, and take your business to the next level while reclaiming your time, then our Golden Key Scorecard is just the ticket. Our scorecard provides the time-tested framework and process to get you and your team out of the weeds and into a well-oiled machine that can scale without you. It's time for you to run your business instead of the other way around. Become an expert in this critical piece of the foundation to creating a high-performing team. Download the Golden Key Scorecard for free at goldenkeypartnership.com/go. Now back to the show. While this was a very uncomfortable few hours in the boardroom, what it resulted in is some very important clarity around roles and accountabilities. It also resulted in him asking some tough questions to determine what ownership box he really wanted to be in. And my favorite part is it got him thinking more about the business and how he wanted to be part of it and know more about it, including saying he wanted to dive into how the business actually ran and get a better understanding of how it all worked and connect with the team more. He also came with a proactive plan of the role he felt would be a win-win, since we all recognized that the immediate role the business needed was not a fit for him, so we needed to look outside the company. Now, to bring it full circle, obviously I'm an unbiased third party, which is a huge benefit for them because I can see things objectively, and we all know that hindsight is 20/20. But I will say this. These partners could have avoided a lot of resentment and drama in the partnership if they had asked the tough question up front of, what type of business owner do I want to be? And based on that answer, adjusted expectations. I share this story to peel back a curtain, but also to hopefully help you miss a pothole or two on your business owner journey. I sometimes joke that business ownership is personal development with a paycheck, but I think it's more true than we realize. Being a business owner, a good business owner, is humbling, and being able to be humble enough to have these conversations and admit that you don't want to be the leader takes guts. So if you're having these tough conversations with yourself and your team, I applaud you. If you aren't, I invite you to start. Your business, your team, and yourself will thank you. That's it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening in. If anything I shared sparked something in you, I'd love for you to share this episode with your friends and fellow business owners. Don't forget to subscribe so you're first to get notified when our next episode is live and ready for your ears. I'd also love to hear from you. Let's connect. Tag or DM me on Instagram at It's Lauren Goldstein or LinkedIn or wherever you hang out on the interwebs. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time. Thank you for listening to the Biz Doctor podcast. Now, I like to say that friends don't let friends WebMD your business. So if you're wondering what your next steps could be, here are some options for you. No matter what, head to the show notes or to my website, goldenkeypartnership.com, for some impactful resources to support you getting out from under your business. That's also where you'll find the links to learn more about our services and how we support business owners, just like you, who are ready to make the successful jump from business operator in the trenches to visionary business owner with more freedom and flexibility. All of that info is on our website, so pop on over to learn more or get in touch. goldenkeypartnership.com. Finally, if you love the Biz Doctor podcast, I'd be so grateful if you would share it with your friends and network and give us a 5-star rating or review wherever you listen to your podcast.
This is Story Studio Network.